welcome back to Cathedral View. I'm here with James Wrigley, Project Manager from DW Hicks. Just a brief reminder of the scheme. This was a 319 student bed development that has now been increased to 326 beds over 9 and 8 stories of Block A and Block B. Just near our finished block, Cathedral Court of 2016. And James is going to walk us around the site and he's going to tell us about the progress that's been made in the site since our last visit a month ago.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
we're going back this way, yes.
Since we were last here with Fraser, the big difference has been that the piling is now being completed. The piling subcontractors vacated the site, which means that we are now with the groundworks crew. Block B, which will be underneath our current store pile. Block A over towards the car park in that direction. We'll go and have a wander around. It's Block A, which we are working on at the moment. The drainage for Block A is sort of 60 or 70% complete.
Yeah, you're going to talk us through that, aren't you?
I am, as much as I can, and then the ground beams have also started to be formed. So.
If you haven't watched one of these videos at Cathedral View before, we have augured piled here, which effectively means screwing the piles into the ground rather than hammering them in. When we come around the other side, you'll see Joseph Wright College here, which is a further education college. We're trying to foster the best neighbourly relations that we can. And James, you've been fostering those relationships.
Oh, I have been, yes.
Did we put it to the ground?
About 360 odd in total, split over. Block A had 177, the remainder on Block B and for the crane base.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is a bit mucky, but that's the British summer for it. You can see some of the rebar store down there. So
okay, just for the group, can you explain what the rebar is?
Okay, well, yeah, it's effectively reinforcement for the concrete.
Yeah.
So concrete is incredibly strong in compression. You can't squeeze it very well, but it's very weak, brittle in tension.
Yeah.
So if you have two things at either end and you push down on it.
And this is for the pipes.
Yeah, actually this one I think maybe for the crane. Possibly the crane base rebar.
Yeah. Because we had the rebar that went into the piles as well.
That's right. Well, I mean, you can see it.
Yeah,
just
these are the tops of the rebar. So it's dug out and then it's pumped full of concrete. The frame goes in with the rebar, and this is the top of the rebar frame. So the concrete rebar is the kind of a structural element.
Yeah, and then the slab that will sit on top, the bar will tie in.
Yes.
So the mesh for the slab will interact with that rebar, and the concrete effectively covers everything and makes a nice seal. And hopefully it's nice and strong. What you can see is, as I mentioned, we've got the different stores, but including quite a bit of the what we would normally term non-hazardous muckaway, but because we're still forming the ground beams, a lot of that will get reused. It's good for the environment and it's actually good for the project all round.
Yeah, and you don't have to buy it in either. So just for the purpose of the video, this is Derby Joseph Wright Centre for Derby College, and this is the reason that we did the augured piling rather than the hammer piling.
Right, so this is the ground beam rebar.
Yes.
You'll see some of it in situ over there. If we have a walk over here, we'll go across the...
I'm going to get a photograph of that, James, as the first concrete pour for the whole development.
I suppose your front face to the world for Block A.
Yeah.
The drainage, as you can see, is in along this area.
Yeah.
And each time you see what is a manhole, there will be pop-ups running down underneath and going towards them.
Yeah.
Well, and not just going towards, obviously going into them. What you see at the front edge, where it is deeper down, that will be the ground beam. Effectively goes round the building, and up here is the rough slab.
Yeah.
So, and as you can see, there's an awful lot of piles. This is a small area with a lot of piles in it.
And where's the groundwater runoff tank then?
Okay, so underneath this section here where you can actually see them forming the first of the ground beams.
Yeah.
Underneath the insulation over there where it's on the front top, that is where the attenuation tank has been sited.
Over there, right, okay.
It's effectively, it's quite pretty much the whole of that area.
Yeah. And just explain to us then how the ground beam works then.
It is the method by which you transfer the load of the slab down into the piles.
Yeah. So effectively you've got the piles, and then you've added some rebar into the ground beam, and you're just going to fill it with concrete. You're just building the frame of and the shape to the ground beam.
That's exactly right. So the piles take shape, if you like, and the ground beam will distribute the load of the slab onto those piles.
Yeah. How long will it take to get this ground beam finished for block A?
If the weather's good.
If the weather's good.
If the weather's good. This will be largely complete by the end of next week. By restart.
Okay. When do you start the ground beam for block B then?
No. What will happen here for progress and works and to allow the ground workers to work out from site is that they will do block A in its entirety and then move on to block B.
Oh, okay. Right.
The only thing
for the groundworks.
Yes, for the groundworks.
Yeah.
And the only thing which might alter that is the lift pits actually take quite a bit of forming. So as they're coming up towards the end of this, they may start on the lift pits and run that concurrently at the same time.
Because the lift pit's going to also be a structural part of the construction.
Yeah,
it is concrete core
of the building. So
we had two over there in Cathedral.
Yeah, we have 3 in total here, 1 on block A and 2 on block B. At this point, what you see is what you get a little bit.
Absolutely, but good progress being made from the last visit. And what do you think are going to be the key bits of activity in the next month then?
Okay, next month will be purely groundwork. Certainly, if we were to do a review in a month's time, the groundworks on block A will be complete and they will be working on block B. And once that happens, we can start progress with Fuse and build absolutely as soon as possible. Fusion, as you're aware, they have long design times. So, there may be a small amount of downtime on block A, but there'll be an awful lot of work going on in block B during that period.
Okay, well listen, thank you very much.
No problem, thank you, Fraser.
As ever. And that's the end of this update, and we'll be doing another update next month.